Hi everyone, it's Helen here and thank you very much for joining me for today's video. So today I am showing you how to do the black ice effect but with embossing folders. Now I do have some other videos, I will link them down below where I use it with stamping, but today we are playing with some embossing folders and we're going to be making this beautiful card here. Let me just change my focus setting so you can see some of the effects. Okay, so I've got this up close here. As you can see, it kind of gives a sort of like a metal, like a hammered metal sort of effect here. It's really nice and effective. I love this technique. Right, so you're just going to be needing some very basic heat embossing and materials like that. So I have here the VersaMark watermark stamp for clear embossing. I have here a black StazOn Inkpad. I have clear embossing powder and I have gold embossing powder because that is what sentiment I'm going to use today. So we'll be doing that from gold. Okay, so let's start off by quickly making our card base. I have here some 12 by 12 black card. You can, if you already have them, use them 6 by 6 card. So I'm just going to use it from a 12 by 12. I'm going to cut it down at 6 inches and then I'm going to score it at 6. So let's pop that there. And I'm going to do it all on this paper trimmer as well. So this one here is going to be our scoring. So let's pop that at 6 and then score that. And there we have our card base done. How easy was that? Okay, so that's our card base done. Set that aside. Time to do some embossing. Okay, so next up you're going to be needing some gold mirror cardstock. I will list this one. This one's from Hunkydory, and I also have some black gloss cardstock as well from Hunkydory. We'll get to that in a moment when we do the sentiment. That will be linked down below. Right, so I have here my 6 by 6. We're going to trim this down to fit the card. So we'll start off with the 6 by 6. Now let's grab the embossing folder, which is this beautiful Sunburst. There we go. This is from Creative Craft Products. It's the 6 by 6 Sunburst embossing folder. So let's load this up. I'm just going to pop this inside here. Line it all up. That should fit in there. Okay, and then let's switch over to our big shot. I'm going to have to switch the plates out. I have my magnetic platform here which lives there, plus the plates. So I'm actually switching to the platform that came with the machine, and we're going to remove this top one here. We're going to place our embossing folder there. Always pop it in with the hinge at the front. One cutting mat below, one above. It's going to be a bit of a toughie, but it will squeeze through. And there we have it. Isn't that beautiful? I absolutely love that. And if you want to spritz the back of it before you run it through, it should help to prevent any cracking. But on my sample here, I did have some cracking here. I just think it adds to the effect of this particular style. Okay, so I'm just going to grab out my glass mat here because I'm going to be using some StazOn next. Here we are. This is StazOn in jet black. Hopefully you can see everything through these little Mr. style circles. If anyone's old enough to remember, the Mr. give me a thumbs up. I was old enough for the reruns. Right, so grab your StazOn and keep it flat and then drag it across and down, and you will find it's highlighting some of the areas. Now again, I show you in other videos that I have on my channel on how to use this with your stamps, with stamping techniques. So just drag and rub this over, try and keep it as flat as possible. You will get a few inky fingers, that's fine, it comes with crafting. A lot of you will be used to this. Just give them a good wipe before you decide to touch anything else, because it can be contagious on your other projects and ruin them. So just rub this pad over just like that and drag it across, and now we have highlighted with the black, if you can highlight with black, but you know what I mean. I have just highlighted all of those raised pieces. Okay, let's pop this back together. Don't discard it. It says it on there, don't throw that away, keep that on there, otherwise it could dry out. Okay, now we're ready for our VersaMark. Now I have a really old one here that's all stained. I keep a nice one, nice and fresh, for using with my clear inks, but for messy work like this I'm going to be using this. So again, don't cover the whole lot, just drag it in certain places. You can go try and get into the nooks and crannies there as well. Go over the edge here. It doesn't have to be perfect. You'll find out as we finish this card, there'll be patches that you have missed, and that just adds to the effect. So that is the VersaMark watermark stamp. And now let's move over to embossing powder. I keep mine in sandwich boxes. These are from Systema. And now is actually a very good time to buy them because it's back to school and there'll be offers and things like that. So if I can find any links for these on Amazon, I will link them down below. So I just use a spoon here and just dab that on. There's no need to use an anti-static tool for this. This is one of those times where you don't need one. So I'm just tapping this on. And then you can tap it off again. See, this box is perfect for putting your powder on and heat embossing. There we go. So you can see I have a few odd patches here. Don't worry about that. It adds to the overall distressed effect. Okay, so next up I'm going to move over to my heat tool. And I'm going to warm it up for about 30 seconds and then I'm going to take it to my card. Okay, so that is all now done, and you can see it's added this lovely textured look to it. Absolutely love that. Okay, so let's get this trimmed down now. So all I'm going to do is just trim off these edges here. And that should make it small enough for us to have a lovely little black border on our card. Okay, so here is our card front, and you can literally just glue it all down here. You can see I've got a little bit of cracking there because I didn't spray it first with water. I'm going to raise this up, I think, on some 3D foam pads. So let's get those down. I'm actually going to join this together with one of those pads, just where it ripped there. Now I am doing a bit of OTT here with my foam pads because it is quite, I would say, out of shape. If you want to be more economical, you can cut them in half. I'm just going to pop this back on here. There you go, you can chop them as well. Let's chop up the last one. There we go. Let's get all this backing off. make sure you know whether you want it this way, open that way, or open as a tent card. Just do your best to line everything up in the right place. There we go, press down. As you can see, it still wants to be lumpy and bumpy, so I'm glad I went overboard there with the adhesive foam pads. Okay, sentiments. I'm going to be using the Winter Sparkle stamp and die set. I absolutely love this one, and one of my favourite stamps is the Naughty Nice and I Tried. So let's get this one out, and this is the matching die to cut that out as well. So everything on here is going to be perfect for your card making, and they all come with the outline dies as well, so it's a duo set there. And I'll be using some Hunkydory black gloss. I love this stuff. Just going to trim a section of there, hopefully that's big enough. Yes, it should be. And this is where I will be using my embossing powder tool. Okay, let's hold this in place. I find this is the most easiest way to stamp nowadays. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect on there because we're going to be cutting it out anyway. Okay, embossing powder tool. This is the anti-static bag, so it's going to help our embossing powder to stick where we want it to stick instead of everywhere else. Okay, so let's go back to the VersaMark watermark stamp. Give that a good press, and I can see that that's all right. So let's take that out, get that lid back on there. I can tidy all this up later because during this stage I just want to get straight to embossing. Okay, so I have my gold here, and let's tap this on. Okay, so all I have to do now is just heat up my embossing tool. If you do find that you do get a little bit of extra embossing powder in places, just use a tiny little paintbrush just to clean that off. So let's preheat this for 30 seconds and then heat emboss. Right, so let's get that cut out. Back to my magnetic platform. This is where it's really useful to have your magnetic platform. It helps to keep everything in place. Doesn't help when it's curly, but when everything is flat, it really does do a really good job. As you can see, it's trying. And there we go. I love that. I really do. That's going to be perfect for loads of different things. Mini albums, cards. You can pop it on a stocking box if you make some Christmas stocking boxes. Okay, so let's finish this card off. All we have to do is pop on another foam adhesive pad there and stick that. Make sure that's the right way around still. Yep, and pop that on. There we go. That is our card done. Nice and simple. How fast was that? I mean, you could make loads of these if you do everything in batches as well. How lovely is that? Okay, so that is how to do the black ice effect with embossing folders. I can't wait to see your makes. I'd love for you to join me in my paper crafting group, which is Paper Crafting with Helen Griffin on Facebook. I would love to see all of your makes there. Lots of you are already sharing your wonderful things, and it's just so lovely to see. We're a lovely group, so don't be shy. Please come and join us. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me today. Everything that I have used is listed down below. If I forget anything, drop me a note and I'll pop it there. Give me a thumbs up if you like this one. Subscribe in the corner there by clicking on the icon, and I'll see you all again soon.